Listen, I don't want trouble. I don't want. Yes. Whoa, whoa. Elbow number one. The first type that we look at, which is simply a rotating elbow that intersects with the target. This is a great strike but it's very, very close range. As you can see, even right here, hey, you, boom, I would miss right here. That's why, for the most part, we always talk about advancing into this target and treat this more like a hammer. But this does have a place. Perhaps, you know, I've been grabbed and pulled very, very close, but yet I have access to these weapons. This is just like throwing a hook. I'm transferring the weight from one side to the other, but instead of a hook punch, I'm just using the elbow. So it looks like this. I'm on the ball of the foot, my hip, my shoulder, and my weapon all rotate from one side to the other, and I am intersecting with the target. Now that's kind of a problem because if I miss, I have driven past the target, and now potentially he has access to getting behind me, to taking my back. So I have to be very, very careful with that. However, it has a place. So this is just about rotating. Now, when I am this close, another thing that I can do, if I want to make sure that I hit my target, is to cup the back of the head. This is a very gross movement. There's nothing special about this. This is, you know, grabbing clothes, the back of the head, and I'm just holding it and posting on it so that I can drive that elbow in. Okay. I don't actually want to hold it and bring it in here and hold everything and squish it together. I just want to make sure that his head does not back up, his or her head doesn't back up. I just want to make sure that it allows me to hit the target. The actual movement back and forth is really what concusses and what causes unconsciousness and so forth. Okay, so that is just simply rotating. The way to practice that, both from a passive stance, get that elbow nice and high. I've never been accused of being really tall. So I really want to get that elbow high. I just don't want to run into all the other mess. I mean, maybe his elbow is up. Maybe he's grabbing like this. So I don't want to run into his forearm. I want to have pure access, angle to his head. So I get that elbow up nice and high. And again, this is all about transfer of weight. I want my whole body to strike him behind the striking surface of the first couple of inches of my elbow. I want to be very careful of anything that just looks like this. Not that that can't be powerful in a certain context, but this only carries 1/8 of my body weight behind it, where I want my whole body to strike. This is a very popular strike in Muay Thai because it's good for slicing. Now, when you do this on a pad or a bob or a bag, sometimes you'll start shaving the skin off of your elbow. That's when you know you're doing a rotating elbow correctly, really. So you just kind of have to practice that, maybe get an elbow pad, okay? So we're gonna throw 10 on the right and then 10 on the left. So these are elbow number one, strikes from a passive stance. I'm gonna start here in the fence. Of course, my recoil after I strike is just to get the elbow down, and I'm going to be guarding my face, and of course, in real life, I'd be making space or continuing the attack. 3, 4, 5, Notice I may do a variable stance with my hands. Maybe I was totally not ready. Maybe my hands were down for whatever reason. Yes! 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 And of course, you can do those hooking the back of the head. Yes! Yes! Which kind of brings us to the second way to throw this elbow. As we said, the first way to throw this elbow, it's all about transfer of weight. But the issue is, because you are intersecting with this target, if you miss, then you totally miss. And it's not that hard for you to miss, okay? A little simple flinch on their response might make you actually miss this. So the elbow that personally I prefer at my height and my style is an advancing elbow. Now when we say advancing with a punch or anything, we simply just mean getting closer to the target. That could be as simple as a simple step, okay? I step towards the target. Now it should be pretty obvious that I'm probably not going to step right at the target, right in front of them, because then I have a lot further to get around with my elbow. So if this is 12 o'clock, like on a clock, then I'm probably going to step to 11 or 10. Now what that does is lines this up even easier. I'm getting to the inside of his left arm right here. So it looks like this. This is the center line. I'm stepping slightly off that center line, getting the elbow up again as high as I can, and driving it forward. There is some rotation here, obviously, but rotation like a hammer. It does go around, but when it hits the target, you want it driving in here. I am not trying to intersect with the target. I'm trying to hit the target and drive through the target. So I step. Now, even if I don't actually take a step, I still have a little bit of back and forth here that I can use my body with. So that could mean the difference between missing the target and hitting the target. However, I certainly don't want to get nose over toes. Anytime I'm here, I'm unstable. So even if I don't actually step, I'm still going to be driving and keeping my weight as centered as possible, okay? All right, so I'm going to throw, we'll throw 5 advancing elbow number 1. Ones. Rest! 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 Good, other side. Rest! 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 Okay? Now, keep in mind, this is a great strike, very powerful. Tell you what, if you have somebody around your house, you could grab their arm, take their arm, and hit that bone right there on your forehead. It's like, that's very powerful. Right now, I'm looking to strike the softer parts of his face. If I were more to the side, I could certainly strike in the temple, in the jaw. Yes, all of that is good. Notice that this is a full body strike, not just an arm strike. So, elbow number 1, static, rotating, driving the weight, left to right, right to left, boom. Advancing, treating it more like a hammer, driving into the target. If they flinch here, whoo, I miss. If they flinch on the second one, whew, I could still be driving in and hit my target. Elbow number 1.